I don't know about you, but fall tends to be my favorite season of the year. Maybe because in the summer and spring I want to be out doing things, and with the fall you've got the arrival of football and baseball postseason, and I just enjoy kind of hanging out in the house, and whether it's making Sunday gravy and allowing that to simmer for 3-4 hours and not feeling like I should be out doing something outdoors. But this is one of the reasons why I really enjoy the fall. And another thing would be for just the fall baking. So the lineup of ingredients that I'm going to be using today are, I'm going to be using some organic pears, about 9 to 10. I'm going to be using about 2 cups of blackberries, again organic. The pears, really good source of dietary fiber. Blackberries, a really good source of antioxidants, are cancer fighters, and high source of vitamin C. You've got about 1/3 of a cup of sugar, about 1/3 of a cup of flour. That's going to be our filling. And then we got the crumble on top. And the crumble is going to require some additional flour, some brown sugar, some quick oats, cinnamon, a little bit of salt, and in the fridge I've got some butter that we're going to use, and we're going to cube that up, and we're going to want to keep that cold to make the crumble. Alright, so let's get started. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm making the filling for the crisp, and what I'm doing here is I've already peeled it, so now I'm going to core and chop the pear. So to core the pear, you just kind of take the knife, go right down the middle, take the stem, and you just kind of pull it through. And then you can take a melon ball, or I'm using like a little 3/4 teaspoon measuring spoon here, and just core it like that. Again, right down the middle, and then just kind of coring it just as so. A little bit of a cook's tip here is when I bought the pears, I got just 2 cartons that were just sitting there at Whole Foods. Probably in hindsight what I should have done is I should have actually felt each pear so that each one had the same consistency, because I have some pears like this that are perfect, and then I've got some that aren't quite ripe, so I'm not going to sure how that's going to change the consistency of the crisp. So then we just want to really work quickly and just kind of chop these up. I am never going to be the speedy guy chopping anything because these are my money makers, so I will take my time and stay out of the emergency room and keep all of my digits. But this pear right here, boy, this is absolutely perfect. So I'm going to add this to the rest of the pears I've already kind of pre-cut. Then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my blackberries. I'm going to give them a rinse. Okay, so right now what I have here is I have just my blackberries and my pears in here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add 1/3 cup of white sugar, and then 1/4 of a cup of all-purpose flour. And what I want to do, and the flour is just going to act as an absorbent for all that moisture and liquid that's going to come out when it bakes. And I just want to give it a nice mix. And I think at this point we'll keep the pears from turning brown. All right. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make the crumble. So in order to make the topping, we are going to be using a little bit more flour, about a cup and 1/3. And we're also going to use an equal amount of the oats. So a cup and 1/3 of flour, a cup and 1/3 of oats, 1 cup of packed brown sugar, and in this little thing here I've got 1 teaspoon of cinnamon and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. So let's first kind of incorporate that a little bit. This is a little pastry blender. And the thing about the butter is that you want that butter to be cold. You don't want it to be frozen, but you don't want it to be room temperature because you want to really get a nice crumble on top. So we'll mix that through, and then I've already cubed up the butter. Add that. Alright, so I just added the butter, and I'm just going to start incorporating that. Now this does take time. For some reason it seems like it's never going to come together, at least the first time I made this. But it just takes a little bit of time, and you just got to kind of keep working it until you get to the right consistency. So what I'll do is I'll come back when it's the right consistency, we'll put it all together and we'll throw it in the oven. So we'll be right back. Okay, so now the fun part. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be putting this thing together. I have a 13 by 9 inch baking dish here. What I'll be doing is I've already buttered this, taking the time to make sure that it's really nicely buttered. What we're going to do is we're going to add the pears and blackberries now. So let's see how that goes. And then we have our topping here. So I got the crumbs to what I wanted, the consistency that I wanted. And then we're just going to start sprinkling that and make sure that covers the whole top. I think everybody's oven's a little different, so I never trust what a recipe might tell me. I always shorten the time by maybe like 5 minutes, 5 to 7 minutes, and just kind of take a poke and see what it looks like. This is done when the filling, the top has kind of browned and it's like bubbling a bit. So try that. I'm going to throw this in the oven, and in about 40 minutes or so, we're going to be good to go. So here is the final product, our pear and blackberry crisp. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you'll give this a shot. If you like it, give us a little bit of a thumbs up, or subscribe to our channel. We have more recipes on there. We also have things like exercises and some of the types of treatments that we perform in our office. So hope to see you again, and bon appetit. Thank you.